So well, today we are going to rig the SONY A7 III, and we have a cage from SmallRig with a Nato Rail on top, mounted with 2 screws, and a cold shoe with 2 screws. And on the side we have a slim Nato Rail also mounted with 2 screws, and a cable clamp for the HDMI cable, also fastened with 2 screws. On the bottom we have a screw for mounting the camera into the cage, and here we have the SONY A7 III with the lens cap on, which we are putting into the cage. Taking off the lid on the side, we have the microphone jack. We have the headphone jack and the HDMI input. Here we have the dongles on the side for mounting a shoulder sling, and to much easier fastening the camera to the cage, we should demount these and take them off, put them in some secure place, maybe in a small plastic bag or something, so they won't fall out of sight. Then we are taking the camera, the A7 III, slipping it into the cage, and there are 2 points for fastening this camera. There we have a tiny little screw to screw through the hole of the dongle thing on the camera with a small umbraco key. And what's very important when you take out this little screw, don't slip it almost down to the cracks, through the table and through the terrace, but we got it. And put it in the hole and make sure it's almost tight, but tighten the camera from the bottom first before you tighten fully the side to the cage. Now check if the camera is properly mounted and won't fall out of the cage before you proceed. Very funny this, huh? Take a sip of coffee, put the blower into the pouch and take out the 2470 2.8 version 1, which we have here, the Sony G Master lens. Take off the lens cap. I normally don't do this outside because of dust and stuff, but only for this video we are taking the chance today. Align the lens white dot with a white dot on the camera and check if it's okay. Put away everything you don't need so you don't accidentally drop it on the floor. Then we are taking out the parts and sipping some coffee for the rig. Here we are mounting the rods to the base plate of this rig, and this base plate is the lifted one, and you can adjust the height according to the camera you are mounting. Here we have the lens support, which should support the heavy lens in front like this. Slip it onto the rods almost where you want to have it. You can always adjust it afterwards, after you have put on the camera and you see where the lens is going. Here we have the base plate for the camera, which is tightened to the base plate mechanism stuff. And the bad thing about this base plate is that there is only 1 screw, so If you don't tighten it enough, it probably will rotate. Take out the infill screw to get room for the full size screw. Mount this to the side of the cage or in any other hole, so you have it in hand for other uses later. Find the proper hole on the bottom of the cage and use your thumbs to get it almost in place. There is a lot of stuff going on here and it's going pretty slow, so bear with me through this. Align and tighten it. Put the camera down on the table, yes. Loosen the lens support so you don't force the lens too much upwards when you are mounting the camera. The first point to screw the camera to the rail system is the base plate. Then you can lift the lens support to the level you want it, and just enough so the lens is resting to the support and not being forced upwards. Check if everything's okay. Checking is much of the work here, so double check, triple check that everything is okay and fastened to the railing system. There we go. Yeah, am I satisfied now? Is it in center? Is the camera and the lens in center of the cage rig railing system? Is the focus ring going smooth? Yes. Take off the lens cap on the lens and take out the variable ND filter from Polar Pro or another company, or just wait a little second there. Put on the MatteBox from SmallRig first. Here we have a step-up ring from 82mm to the 92, I guess, on the 82 to 95. The camera is 82mm and the MatteBox is 95mm. Screw on this step-up ring. Then you can put on the variable ND filter if you are needing this for outdoor filming or filming in bright environment. Take out the blower and remove some dust before you put it on the step-up ring. On this variable ND filter we have a rubber lid which is taking up space from the threads, so maybe you have to fasten it a little bit more after taking off the lens cap. Check if the ring goes smooth and the filter itself is properly fastened. Take out the MatteBox, align it with the red dot on the camera and the white line on the MatteBox to make sure it's horizontally mounted. Yep, the flag is working. And then we can take out the top handle for the cage, which also contains an Allen wrench for tightening and loosening this stuff. Here we have a quick release fastened to the top handle, and we have a rotatable side handle. Everything on this rig is from SmallRig, so it's working very nice together. This here we also have a quick release, so the left rotating side handle is easy to mount to the cage. Check if the handle is properly fastened and you can lift the whole rig from the handle. Take out the monitor. I have a monitor from Feelworld which works just fine. You can use a battery or a dummy battery to a V-mount battery if you have one. In this case we have a NPF battery or a quote-unquote Sony battery. Take a sip of coffee. Take out the microphone from Rode. This one is the Rode Video Micro Go, which works very nice. But when you have a big rig like this small microphone is some sort of retracted, and you should probably have a longer shotgun microphone. Here we have to have an infill to make it go on this SmallRig sort of magic arm stuff, mini magic arm, which we can put in the cold shoe on the cage on the right side here. Oh, this takes a very long time, so if you are staying with me in this video still, thank you very much. Yep, and there we have the cord. Plug it into the microphone and plug it into the camera's jack. A little bit of a struggle there, but now you can see the rig is expanding dramatically, and we also have a lav mic receiver which you can put on the cage, and then you can change from the microphone to the lav microphone receiver very quick. So then it's easy to go from handheld video stuff to maybe handheld, but also make on a tripod. Then we have the HDMI cable from SmallRig, a full-size HDMI from the monitor to a mini HDMI in the camera, and here it's very important to secure the cable with this cable clamp so you won't break it or tear it out of the camera by accident. The cables can be organized with a red whip or something else to keep it out of the handles and the way. And here we are pretty much finished with the rig. We are not using a V-mount battery or anything else here on this rig now, because the batteries on the Sony is pretty long lasting, and if you have 2, 3 or 4 or maybe more batteries, you can easily change them out. And this makes the rig also a bit lighter, but to get a little more weight balance on the camera, you probably should use a V-mount on the back. But that should be okay for another time. Now we have a pretty functional rig with MatteBox, monitor, possibilities for 2 microphones, a zoom lens, rotating handles, and it's sitting very well on the surface while not in use. Here we are putting on the sun hood, and we are ready to film. Thank you for watching, and until next time, We see you in the next one. Goodbye.